Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Kevin and Robin here with another fantastic lineup of wine and more stuff from Loire Valley.
Yeah, last week we did a little Muscadet, so we were out on the coast of the Loire and kind of the Wild West. This week we're moving inland a little bit and we're in the village of Saumur, and I'm excited to talk about these because I've been busy drinking these all week. I know more about these wines than just about anything in the shop because I literally can't keep my hands off them.
Thank you for doing your homework. It's greatly appreciated, and you did share a little bit too, so also very appreciated.
You know, you gotta share. I'm gonna share some now. How's
Thank
that?
you.
I can't pull enough corks on this stuff. Arnaud Lambert is a producer that I've been chasing down for a long time. So a lot of what we do at Market Wines is we go find these little sort of family producers and small producers that oftentimes don't necessarily have allocation or have wines to sell. So my job is to go kind of convince them that they should sell some wine in Alberta and that we should be the ones selling it for them. So I've been chasing this guy down for a long time, like a number of months, and I finally convinced him to part with some wine. Sadly, not
that much.
So we did manage to get about 7 different wines from him, because what he does, and what Lambert did that was really interesting in Saumur, is he went to this area, Saint-Cyr-en-Borg, where his winery is, and then he also champions the wine from a little hillside in Saumur called Brézé. So Brézé, or Brézé, I keep saying
Brézé?
Brézé, is a little cool hillside that's planted primarily to Chenin Blanc with a little bit of Cabernet Franc. And the soils there are very special. They're a sort of a chalky limestone soil. And the wines that come off this hill, in the past, were just going into these big sort of blends. So people that own bigger wineries were kind of blending away these wines. And what Lambert did is he went in and he identified all these little parcels. So if you look on these wines, you'll see the name of the vineyard here. So this is Clos de Midi. So a clos is like a vineyard that's closed in by a stone wall, effectively. So this is a vineyard that he owns outright, and he vinifies all these separately. So you get expressions of Chenin Blanc growing in all these different vineyards, and they're all very different. This one from Brézé is very lean and chalky and minerally, and it really kind of reminds me of white Burgundy. If you're a white Burgundy fan or a Merceau fan, and you're feeling like, you know, your pockets are a little light when you're shopping for white Burgundy, this is a great way to go, because these wines really deliver that like kind of minerally Chablis-like experience. With age, they kind of start to taste more like Merceau or Pouligny. And they have just this incredible cut and precision to them. They're really like nothing I've had before, and they're really affordable wines. I mean, this is, I think, 32 for the Sancerre, and this is about 37 for the Clos de Midi. But when
I know,
you get that
and you
in
can't
glass,
get Burgundy in that price point.
you can't even start thinking about good Chablis until you're north of $50. So for those people who really love that style, or maybe want to put something in a wine cellar or put these away, here you go. These are great wines to try, and this is kind of his entry level. And the crazy thing is, his entry level is from a vineyard of 70-year-old vines, and this vineyard has just a little bit more sand in the soil. So this one's quite approachable when it's young. It's got a little more, for me, like a little more of the sort of yellow plum kind of flavors to it, and some of those more typical Chenin notes. But really, it's nothing like Vouvray, is it? It's not like the Chenin Blanc that I've had in the past. It's a very different experience. She's tasting.
I'm happy. I did try some of the sparkling from these guys too.
Oh, man.
All of the sparkling wines, we've actually got 3 in the shop right now. We've got the Chenin, we have a Rosé, and then we have the 1948.
For
which
now.
is
Not
again
long.
in short supply, so come on in if you do want a special bottle. It drinks very much like champagne. It's really pretty, all done in traditional method. And again, I mean, these guys are $35 on the shelf. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, it really is a very precise style of sparkling wine. We're going to have a hot tip bottle of that 1948 open in about an hour here.
Ooh.
That'll be the only one we open because we only got 3 cases. But the Cremant is really a special wine too for $35. I don't know if there's a more interesting sparkling wine in the store. For me, this is obviously open now. I'd love to share this with you. It's such an interesting expression of Chenin Blanc, and it's just like such a powerful and complex wine for the money. They also make some spectacular Cab Franc. And because we hadn't had the reds before, we didn't order that much. I wish I had been able to get a little bit more of this. Again, this is a single clos. It's a monopole. It's only made by Arnaud Lambert. And if you're the kind of person who finds Cab Franc kind of weedy or green, or like, you know, not very interesting, you really need to try these. These are a completely different story. And I think some of the best Cab Franc I've ever tasted.
I couldn't agree more. I have always been kind of guilty of thinking of that, of like the really like heavy and green peppery expressions of Cabernet Franc, and this is so not like that. It's light and fresh and elegant and just like
delicious.
Everything you want.
Oh, I've had like 3 bottles of this already, and I just can't stop. We don't need to go there. It really is a special wine, and I think this is one of maybe the most exciting producers we've got in all year. I could go on, but we only get 10 minutes for these, and you got a pack you got to talk about. So you talk, and I'm going to go back to tasting.
All right. Since we've been talking about lots of white wines, sparkling wines, we wanted to throw out an all red 6-pack as well, because we haven't done that in a while, and we are moving into some cooler weather. So I've definitely seen an increase in red wine sales lately. So we wanted to put this out. It is on sale for $124.95 on our website if you want free delivery. And it comes with a whole array of a lot of brand new wines, a lot of wines that have just returned to the shelves that have maybe been gone for a little while, like the Generation. Again, a little bit of Cab Franc and Merlot blend in this guy from Bordeaux, and it's awesome.
2016, so if you follow Bordeaux, you'll know 16 is one of the best vintages in the last 20 years. And that is such a steal at $25. Yep. I think it's really one of the best wines in the store right now. So great little start to that pack, and
little Mencia from Spain as well. Baltos, again, kind of another staple one on the shelf from Dominio de Taurus. I love it because it's got a little more like blackberry fruit, but those tannins are kind of soft. It's just like, it's kind of like a little blanket in the glass, nice and warming.
Yeah, it's a great little wine, neat area. We don't see a lot of stuff from Bierzo, so it's a great spot, sort of up in a cooler part of Spain. So definitely a lot more spice in those wines. What else you got?
New one from La Lacaya. This is their little take on a super Tuscan. So you've got some Sangio, some Cab Merlot. Nice, full, rich. It's got still some bright acidity to it too, so if you're doing any pizza, pasta, that's like the ultimate wine.
Yeah, and being in 2015, which was a really warm year in Tuscany, that wine is just like bursting with fruit. So I think that's an amazing buy. And one of my faves just snuck in there.
I know.
I was waiting for this one to make it into one of the packs, because I think this is a really cool wine and super unique.
We actually just tried it again this past week because it had been a little while since it first came in. But the Dornfelder from Thorsten Krieger. So got a nice little German wine, and again, like really fresh and bright. It's just made to be enjoyed. You don't have to overcomplicate things. Have it with food. Just like pour yourself a glass and kick back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting wine, right? Because I thought Dornfelder from Germany, it was going to be like a little more like lean and kind of fresher style. It's actually got some real fruit to it. Like it's kind of a weightier style. It almost reminded me of like Zinfandel that I used to taste like back in the 90s in California when they were a little more restrained. But it just has so much cool like spice to it, and just a neat wine to try if you never had a German red. Start with that, because it's fabulous.
Historically they used it to blend a lot, right? We've only kind of recently been seeing it on a single varietal standpoint, so it's a nice way to explore it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shooting Star Pinot, because sometimes you just need a little Pinot.
Yeah, Pinot Noir, great value, nice and spicy. We're always on the hunt for those good value Pinots, and Shooting Star gives us one every year, and they do a fantastic job. So they're just like an hour north of Napa, up in Mendocino County, where the fruit's just a little less expensive than it is in Napa and Sonoma, so we get some great buys up there, and that's one of the best.
And speaking of value, we'll close it out with a new one from Fiuza, the Three Costas. Cool. Little Portuguese wine. Portugal is something we've really kind of been amping up and bringing some new stuff in recently, because again, when you talk value, you can't go wrong.
Portugal is probably the #1 country right now if you just want to look for spectacular buys. I mean, this is one of the top wines they do. So it's like a Reserva level wine. They're getting like, it's handmade. It's getting like good barrel program. It's a wine that they're really proud of, and it comes
in
for
like $20.
$20. Crazy.
Yeah.
So another big, full-bodied, nice, spicy wine. Keep you warm on those cooler nights.
That's right.
And 12 Days Wine, those are still flying out of here. So if you're waiting to pick up one of the Advent calendars of wine, I wouldn't wait too much longer.
Don't wait too long.
Yeah, definitely not into December, because they're selling at a much faster pace than last year. So make sure you grab them. You can get them online if you want. Drop them off at your house for free. We can make that happen anytime.
That's about it.
That's all. All right. Hopefully we'll see you down for a little Arno Lombra this week. It is definitely worth the trip.